Welcome to Health, Butts and Guts, on the forefront of intestinal health and nutrition. Tune in with Mel and Kev for enlightening tales of coffee enemas, perennial bleaching, and holistic teachings. Lovely.
That's why I want you here.
I like it.
So let's start, shall we? We're here.
We're here.
Welcome to Health, Butts, and Guts.
Thank you. Feels good to be here.
Yeah, you're back. So I hope everyone's seen your episode, or at least listened to it, because we talked a lot about the coffee enema. And I think today's episode, I have to give everyone a warning that this is not going to be faint of the heart. How do you say that?
Not for the faint of heart.
For the faint of the heart. Because we're going to talk about our weird shit that gets brought up in conversation every day when we're talking about the coffee enema, and it makes people squeamish. So here's your warning: be careful.
It's gonna get a little weird.
Yeah, let's get weird. So I receive a lot of pictures of people's literally their poop. Mm-hmm. And when you had your episode, you started receiving emails, DMs of people's poop and questions about the enema. So, first of all, just because this is like the question that I would ask you if we were on vacation or literally having cocktails, like, so far, what's the weirdest thing that you've
had come out of my body or had sent to me?
Either or. Let's do, I'm going to add, that'll be a two-part question. Okay. So the first one, or I don't know, which one do you want to go with?
Throw it at me.
Okay, so what's the weirdest thing that's come out of you so far?
Okay, so the weirdest thing so far, and you will probably remember this because I definitely was texting you pictures and talking to you while it was all happening. So I had my gut was feeling a little funky, and I just felt like there was something that just felt like it was sitting in there sort of blocking. And I think I had talked to you about the fact that I was feeling that way. And so
This is pre-enemas?
This is while I'm actively doing enemas. I just, my gut felt a little off. I don't remember what was going on around it. If it was, surrounding, a little more partying than normal or being busy or stressed. I don't quite recall. But I could just feel like something wasn't quite functioning like normal. And so it felt, though, like there's, a blockage of some kind is what I interpreted how my body was feeling. And so
I love that you know what your body's feeling. Like, you're paying attention. You're like, there's something in there and it's not right.
I never paid attention before at all. So that's been a really cool part of this process for me too. So I had been talking to you about how I'd been feeling, and we had talked about the oil of oregano, adding that into the enema, and so I decided to try it. So that day I did one in the morning, and I had the weirdest, it wasn't anything over the top crazy, but it was that little black ball. I had a few little black balls that looked like a little piece of coal or something, or a really dark raisin. I don't know.
Did you feel like you felt something, it released? You felt like something?
I felt different after the enema. During it, my release, I didn't necessarily feel something where I was like, whoa, that was it.
So you used the core vital. So you used the clear. You didn't use dark roast.
Correct.
Coffee.
I used the therapeutic, the core vital,
which that makes a
coffee.
huge difference because you can actually see your shit. You can see what's coming out.
You really can.
Whether it's loogies, whether it's black balls.
It makes it so much more interesting, I must say. And it makes also, for those who are a little faint-hearted about some of this stuff. Oh, the core vital. You should show that up. And don't forget to tell everyone about my favorite code, HBG20, because every time I buy my coffee, it's 20% off, and I love it.
Yeah, me too. I literally buy the same shit.
Yes. But it is, for those who feel weird about the whole enema thing, using the gold coffee makes it feel less poop-oriented and more like it's this wellness thing you're doing, because it's not like you see in the toilet, it's just dark brown, just gross. Yeah. It's a little different. It does make it more interesting to be able to see what you're kind of got going on.
I do. I find it fascinating. I'm I look forward to finding. I'm is it more loogies? Because then I think
so weird.
It is weird, but it's it's inflammation. I can tell if I have more of that loogie stuff that I call, Well, we can share these pictures with people,
I think we should. Some people really don't want to see it, but some people find it either fascinating or kind of, like, creepy and a little, like, whoa, but at the same time, like, so interesting.
Yeah.
So, okay, so back to my little black balls.
Yeah.
So I'm texting with you, and I'm like, dude, I think, like, I found whatever it was that I've been feeling in there. And so I think I sent you a picture of it, and you're like, what is it? You should get it out and you should check it out. And I had never done that before.
The reason why I told you that too is, first, when I started getting the worms, like, I was asked too, like, did you check it out? Did you take it out? But for you, I was thinking, if it's a black ball, then maybe it's like a blood clot, or like I don't know.
Something that could be maybe like a little bit
more
of a sign of something terrifying. Yeah. So, yeah, and I, like, literally never in a million years, like, a year ago, I would have never thought I would, like, pull something out of the toilet that came out of my butt.
How did you do it? How did you pull it out?
I grabbed, like, a plastic disposable cup that I had for some other purpose and just grabbed it, kind of scooped it out, because it was floating on the surface, too, so it's not like I had to go hunting in the whole toilet bowl or anything. It was very easy. And then I just kind of, like, pulled it out and put it on some, like, paper towel, and I think I had brought, like, a couple toothpicks, and so I just kind of, like, pulled it apart with toothpicks. It was so weird. I'm in the bathroom too, and I'm, like, transporting my supplies to the back without trying to have my husband notice, because he's so creeped out by all of this stuff, and I understand. Hilarious.
I get it, right?
Yeah. But, so I'm sneaking, and then I'm in there, and I'm like, whoa, and I'm texting you still, and it was just a weird thing. Like, what it actually seemed like it was, like, it had a really, like, thick exterior, and it was black, like, completely black. No, it didn't look like blood, it didn't look like anything else. And then inside was pretty much completely dark, too, but it was, like, empty almost. Like, it was, like, wilted up little ball of something. So, I don't know. It was odd, though. It didn't, like, there was no weird smell, there was no weird anything else, and I was, like, almost a little bit, like, unexciting, the result. Like, I thought it was going to be, like, different or crazier, but yeah, that was definitely my weirdest one so far.
So did you feel different after that came out, or it's just kind of one of those things? Because I know I tell people, too, when they send me things, like, sometimes I'm a psychopath, and I'm like, oh, it was a cancer ball, it's an inflammation ball, it's all, right, who knows what it is, but at the end of the day, I tell people, like, flush that thing if you don't want to get deeper into it, and literally say thank you, like, do a little prayer, however you want to, I don't believe in, like, prayer per se, but I do. I'm like, thank you for leaving my body. I know that was not welcome here, and now it's gone, it's left, and I've had help getting it out, so I'm like,
you definitely taught me that practice, which I kind of love. It's like a cute little natural thing that happens now. I'm like, okay, well, that needed to go, and thank you for letting it go. Like, thank you to my body for actually releasing it.
Yeah.
So I feel like that same day after that happened, I felt like everything started to shift back to normalcy in my gut. So, like, I think that, whatever it was, maybe why it was so dark was it'd been stuck in there for a while. Who knows?
Yeah.
And who knows what it was, but it was very odd.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
You know what's interesting to me? So, you said it didn't have an odor, and so I will share with people. I get, like, the worm things, or the patina, or whatever you want to call them. I get those out when I'm using the oil of oregano, and we've done a TikTok where I've dropped the oil of oregano, and it got a ton of views because people are very interested in, like, what's this oil of oregano, which you and I will do plenty of episodes just on what we're putting in our enemas, because we do broth, and Mel as well. Mel is totally into it, but sometimes the conversation, I get a little gross or inappropriate. So
she gets a little squeamish.
Yeah, which and I totally respect, because a lot of people get squeamish, so I appreciate that you'll talk to me about the weird stuff. But, so, talking about yours not having an odor, when I get, like, that patina or worm or whatever you want to call it, the stringy, that weird thing that gets stuck. I have pictures of it literally hanging from me. I've called my sister in. I've called Damien in. Mel sent me pictures of her, that these things have come out of her. My mother these things have come out of her. They smell putrid. Yeah. It's a very distinct smell, and it's not like poop So I'm sorry once again. I said this episode is going to be pretty
it's real
raunchy, but I'm so comfortable talking about this. So it's like I'm not trying to gross you out in any way, but this it smells very distinct. You know how like death has a very distinct smell. It's like you know it's putrid.
Well, it's a rotting smell, I imagine.
And that's the smell of the that worm thing.
Well, even you had shared an article with me about the rope worm thing.
Yes.
That they were studying. I want to say it was like Egypt or something like that. And that was such an interesting article, but that was one of the things I really remembered them saying. It always was accompanied by like an intensely terrible smell.
That's how I know it's there. I won't even have to look or wipe.
You're aware.
I know. I'm like, oh, today's, whether it's wrapped around a piece of stool or it's hanging from me or it's in the toilet. I'm aware because I'm like, oh, today I'm releasing something, and they're like, I don't know, but thank you, goodbye, see you later. I have had it with y'all. Get out.
Time to go.
Yeah.
I've not had one of those at this point. Maybe I'm just not a person who'll have that. I don't know, but I'm so curious about that experience.
I feel like I'm completely not a doctor, and I'm like, if you're not getting those out, I feel like you're in a good place.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm like, maybe my gut isn't carrying that kind of thing, or that's, the environment's not letting that type of thing live in there. I've got other stuff always that I'm managing, stomach things, or, avoiding gluten or all those things, but I feel like mine tends to be more inflammation stuff, loogies.
Right, rather than parasitic.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's what my gut tends to be dealing with, it seems, so far.
Well, who's to say what's good or bad, but I don't know. I just find it fascinating that your body is getting rid of something. Yeah. Whether it's a worm, a loogie, or a strange object. I guess I should get into pathology. There is a girl that I follow, Mrs. Angemi, and she's a pathologist, and she is freaking. She shows like the grossest stuff. That she has the gross from the things that come out of the human body, and it's like there's a following there. It's like freaks flock together. We're interested.
Well, it's like my body created this thing. What in the world are you, and why, and I just want to know everything about it, and I just can't stop staring at it. It's like a train wreck, disgusting, but whoa, what in the world?
How did I cause that?
Yeah.
Okay, so your next one, that one was yours. And now we'll go into what's the most fascinating that someone has sent you so far.
So I haven't had a lot of people send me a ton yet, but I've had some now.
Or conversations.
I was going to say, most of my people are very, it's funny, even after they've tried it, still kind of a little shy about talking about it, which is fine, to each their own. Everyone's got to have their comfort level. But I think, quite honestly, loogies are the only thing that I've had people really bring up to me so far. I don't think I've had anyone who's had anything worm-like or anything, really odd or, stand out. But the loogies, it's funny, you don't know how to perceive what that's going to look like until it happens to you. And it's funny, people's reactions, and they're like, it's exactly like you described it, but I couldn't have pictured it.
Yeah.
And so that's been a funny thing. I feel like probably I would think one of the more consistent things people are going to see, because we're all so inflamed by eating the kind of food we eat in America. And so, I don't know, that's got to be a huge one that people are seeing.
I think that's probably the number one picture that I get. Of course, for me, my favorite thing to see is when people send me the worms. Someone sent me the worm the other day, and they're like, Kelly, it's literally as long as my arm. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then the next day, another one came out, and it was as long as that person's arm, too. And I'm like, holy moly, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. Right? And I'm hype team on it, right?
Yeah.
But the most common, I feel like what happens is people start to release that inflammation first, whether it's from dairy, alcohol, your everyday, whatever it is.
Stress, whatever.
Preservatives, everything. But I feel like that's what releases first. And I've gotten pictures of people where it's there is nothing in the toilet, but it almost looks like shredded toilet paper that has been in the toilet for maybe at least 6 hours. So it's just that shitty toilet paper that's been just dissolving, and it's just, but it's
all just a pile in the bottom.
And it's a ton, and to me that's whoa, that stuff, that's like the sticky icky that's like in your intestines.
It's like something came through and just swept it all out. It was like lingering on the like lining of your intestinal walls, whatever, just swept out and like
it's a
dropped.
broom.
Yeah, it's so
that's
great.
The way Robles talks about after your enema or after cleansing. He's like, you should make sure you have like a grapefruit or something that's going to be super antioxidant. He's like, because whatever after you cleanse, you need something to push it out. Like you need a broom, you need something to go through and kind of help everything flush along.
Yes, I always remember.
Otherwise, you're just backing up.
I remember you calling the grapefruit like it's like nature's broom for your colon. So I often will do that. Plus, I like grapefruit anyway. But yeah, it's a trip when you see that stuff. It's like sloughing off your body. It's got like it wants to leave.
Yeah,
but it's very weird. I don't know. Even just like. We'll talk about getting weird. Like when you flush the toilet and watching how it moves is strange.
I look for certain. I'm like, okay, did I release like a worm or an inflammation? Like, I look when I flush the toilet because that's what happens. It's a freak show.
It tells you something.
I'm like, this is fascinating. If this is what my body's getting rid of, I already know what I'm putting in. Half the people kind of know what I'm putting in, but I put in a lot. I love Del Taco. I can't help it. In and out. Like it's. Don't tell anyone, but
we have our things.
There's things that I struggle with where I'm like, I cannot help it, and I know a lot of other people because I've shared French fries with several people. But that's inflammation, and I don't have cancer at the moment. I'm doing
blessed.
So I'm excited to see these things leaving my body, and thank you for being here, and thank you for leaving. Goodbye. See you later.
Absolutely. Oh, it's thrilling. You know who I really want to... I can't wait for them to have their first experience of something really weird.
Who?
My partner.
Oh my God. Well,
he's going to lose it. It's going to be amazing, though. I just cannot wait because he's not going to want to talk to me about it, but he's going to need to talk to me about it, and I can't wait.
I think we're going to need to do an episode with them because Damien also does them regularly. He has a routine. He enjoys them. It's part of...
He's very confident with it, seems like
but I don't think he's ever... I mean, I've called him... I've had one of the worms literally hanging.
You FaceTimed him because you texted me right now.
Come in, and knowing that it smells putrid too, I'm like, I don't care. Like, you've got to see this because if you didn't see this, you would think I'm a straight lunatic liar. Like, this is not something that is even... close to being
well, there's nothing romantic about that, but it's so like you have to see it to believe it sometimes.
It's like this is what's coming out of my body, but he's never told me anything of what has come out of his body as far as anything weird. But I also feel like he's super healthy and like he never gets hung.
He might not have that.
He's beast mode. He's got like that weird French, like strong.
The French.
It's the French.
Yeah. We need some more French in our life then, because dude, had a couple bad ones lately.
Yeah. One more thing too is like we do apple cider vinegar a lot in our enemas, and I feel like when I do just a flush first, so I'll do mostly water with like a half a shot of apple cider vinegar, and a lot of that inflammation will come out first, and then I'll do the coffee enema, and I feel like I can hold it longer, so I retain it longer.
I agree. Apple cider vinegar is actually the one enema that I had like a slight bathroom fiasco with, and it was hilarious. My body was not about, because you don't even retain that one, but putting it in, and then all of a sudden my body said no, and that was the one where the tube came out, and I didn't realize it at first, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, that's what happens. Like sometimes you, like, that's where we need to talk about this too. It's like, so sometimes it's happened to me maybe, so I do them pretty much daily, but it's happened to me maybe like a total of 7 times where it slips out. Maybe you lubed the tube too much or you didn't put it in.
That's real.
And because you have gas, it's pushing a little bit, because I mean,
well, your muscles are even constricting while stuff's happening in there. Like your sphincter's working.
Doing these tapping movements, I'm doing breathing movements, which I can't wait to do an episode, because Damien is like the king of tapping farts out. We all know he knows how to freaking handle that. But I think it's going to be really fun to start showing pictures and talking to people about what's actually. It's gross, but we all need to know what's coming out of our bodies, and maybe just to share with like, hey, I have this, like, maybe I'm not so weird.
Yes, it's connecting with other weirdos, though, on a topic that's interesting. It's healthy overall. Like, if anyone wants to shame us for it, at the end of the day, I'm analyzing, like, some part of my natural, what my body does to make sure I'm doing what I need to do to make sure I'm taking care of me. So, us freaks will flock together. We'll share our pictures. We'll share our story. Like, I love that. I think there's a total community of weirdos in the HBG world that would be into that.
Really want to talk. Yeah, I met a girl just recently that she was like, the coffee enema. What, like, why the coffee enema? I was explaining to her, like, our liver. And she was like, I do an enema every day. And maybe a month or two ago, I got a DM from a friend from high school that said he also does enemas at least 3 times a week. And same as this
What type of enema?
Water.
Still water, okay.
So these people, so there's a lot of people that are doing enemas, and even when I did an episode with Kirill, our special guest, they do enemas for all 3 of us had different reasons on why, but we all wanted to talk about, like, well, not necessarily what was coming out of it, but was like what our reasonings. And so these people are now coming to me and be like, well, I don't talk about it, but I've been doing water enemas every day because I can't shit. And I'm like, oh my God. First of all, my first thought is, what does your back look like? Because your toxins have to come out somewhere. And I know a girl that would poop like a couple times a month. And she had back knee really, really bad. And she had it. Her chest is
your forehead too will show up there, also your intestines.
It does. It's going to come out somewhere. So if it's not, and that means you're backed up, so everything's going to start getting fatigued. And it's like, what? So when the one girl came to me and was like, wait, what's this coffee enema? And I'm like, wait, well, let's go deeper.
Water?
Why are you not shitting?
Yeah. Well, and also I'm curious why water is the solution.
It flushes her.
Okay, so it just loosens, like, literally, like, it's like gravity almost. Yeah. Push it up, it comes out.
So, I should write her and just, I'm going to do coffee in the mouth, not in the butt with her, just to talk, because it's... People want to talk this, and maybe she'll let me share her story as an anonymous person. I'm really excited to talk weird body stuff. Like, why does my armpit smell like onions again? Not being healthy.
It's so real. Oh my gosh. Real. I know I told you because I was trying to quit typical, like, modern deodorant and either not use deodorant at all or use only natural deodorant. And I told you after starting the coffee enemas and having my system just be detoxed regularly, I rarely put deodorant on. I usually put just coconut oil on. And, I mean, you're not going to smell like a fresh rose by the end of the day, but you don't smell bad. But it was like getting the toxins out of my system allowed me to be able to pull that off even, which is amazing.
It's just a little less load in there, right? Like a little bit less.
It is.
I feel that strongly, or I'm like, all right, well, at least I'm helping things along a little bit more.
Absolutely.
So do you have any, before we wrap it up, because I just kind of wanted to small talk those enemas before we start really sharing, like, actual pictures with people and stories of people's enema situations and what has come out. I don't know, toilet talk, whatever you want to call it.
Toilet talk's proper. It sounds ladylike still a little bit.
It's classy, but I don't want you to be scared of being like, it was putrid.
Yeah.
It was horrendous. It was bloody. It had this. It had that. I don't care. Tell me. Like, I'm not going to judge you.
Yeah, or I had a fiasco, or I had this, or I never expected this. Like, whatever. Share your experience. Everyone's so nervous about it. Like, the more we share.
And you won't shit your pants, actually. It's so many people. I feel like everyone that comes to us, like,
they're worried about it.
How long it's such a fear around it. So
or like, I want to work out before I do it, so that way I'm not worried about it. Like, once you're like, an hour past it, you're pretty much done.
And you'll feel like no, you're not going to have an accident, but you're like, I need to go. And then that's when sometimes the inflammation comes out.
That's when, usually it's late. It's like, that I've had time to settle. I've done my full release for the most part. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, got something else. And that you're absolutely right.
And you're safe. Right. It's not a risky business situation.
No. Yeah, I've never been worried I wasn't going to make it to the bathroom at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's just more like, oh, something just moved. Something else is ready to go. All right, cool. Let's go handle business. And then, ooh, this might be fun.
Yeah.
So weird.
I love it so much. So do you have anything else?
Let's see. Any final thoughts? Well, I guess my final thought would be send me your weird. I like the weird.
Yeah, I like the weird. Me
Keep
too.
it coming.
I love it. And don't tell anyone that you're being weird with us.
I would never share. I would never like. I would never comment, and I would never. I don't know, repost, subscribe.
Don't like, don't tell your friends that we talk about weird things, because, well, you can DM us, but just say, Mel, be careful.
Yeah, started off with, for Kel, share this with Lindsay, because Lindsay's going to love it.
Oh, I love it so much. Thank you, guys. Love you.
Bye.